3-6 months down the line,
Sure.
what can people expect to see? You say yes.
Well,
Many
I was just going to come to the business itself. I was just going to move as the next step. That okay, so you've taken over the companies, you've retained the workers. So what does that mean for Nigerians? Because at the end of the day, yeah. Now the thing is that we must manage the expectations of consumers, because old habits don't die too quickly. And like I've told you, everybody's showing a human face to ensure that this transition is smooth. So what we can be looking at is something to do with futuristically, beyond 6 months, 1 year, 2 years. Now, the first thing to bear in mind is that for nearly 30 years, that sector was neglected in terms of infrastructural development. No new things were added, and I'm not surprised. When you look at our airports built 30 years ago is only what's just been renovated today. So the same thing happened to the electricity sector. Take Lagos, for example. You wouldn't believe that Lagos, when it was built and designed for electricity, they were meant to be underground cables. But today you have so many overhead cables because due to lack of maintenance, many of the underground cables could not be maintained. So overhead, very ugly and eyesore sort of things had to come up. You know. So, but part of the conditions for taking over from these new companies is that they will invest, and in some cases, some of them as much as $250 million over a 5-year period, into reworking the system. Now, that's absolutely very good news. Now, if that happens, then the technical losses which we currently express, and when I mean technical losses, the way to look at it is that power is generated and then supplied, transmitted, and then dropped down for distribution. Now, because of these weaknesses in the system that I told you, power is lost between when it is generated, transmitted, and dropped down. There's in some cases as high as 20%. Those are called technical losses. Now, with the new systems constantly being improved, you cut down on those technical losses. Now, we're talking about 10-20% losses, but these translate to billions of naira. Now, in addition to the technical losses, you have what they call the commercial and collection losses. That is when these distribution companies send out invoices or fail to send out invoices, as the case may be, because there are so many people we know who are not captured in the electricity radar at all. They just consume, they don't pay. Then there are those ones for whom you issue the invoices, they don't honor it and all that. So those are commercial and collection losses. Now, in total, those ones account for huge losses to the system. So with the new investors, their concentration would be to reduce those commercial losses. In fact, there's the successes they register will be to reduce those commercial losses steadily over a period of time. And once that is done, there is more power made available to consumers, especially for the diligent consumers. Because what happens when non-paying consumers take electricity? They jeopardize, they shortchange those who are paying, because in one way or the other, that loss is distributed all round. So those are the challenges that are being faced at this point. Now, from a commercial law perspective, I'm always true to my constituency. Lawyers should begin to get in. It's a new growth area. I did say it all through the period I was chair of the SBL. I kept saying that these are new frontiers for lawyers, and lawyers come in big. In some of the companies we visited in India, where there's been successful transformation from public to private utilities, some of these companies have as many as 100, 200 in-house counsel, and then external counsel like 20, just one company. So you see the potential
business opportunities
for lawyers. And what do lawyers do? Lawyers are good, apart from getting involved in the hard-nosed aspect of electricity law and all the interplays, all the forces. I can't go into all that in this interview. There is a regulatory aspect. compliance is big. The Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, NERC, is the main overseer. They do there to electricity what NCC is to telecoms. So there is this constant interface between these companies and NEC, because essentially NEC is there as a watchdog to ensure that these companies do not exploit consumers.
One thing that would concern a lot of people is how will the elections affect all of this?
The attitude I have is that no matter what turn the elections take, the economic march must continue. We know of countries where they are bombing themselves every day, but elections are going on all over the world. So it should not, as for us, it should not be a question of stop what you're doing and face the elections. We must get to that point where the elections follow the economy. And if we do that, that's when you can genuinely begin to vote for people who go and make sure things happen. Any of these legislators who seek re-election, let their constituents ask them, why didn't you pass the PIB when you knew it was going to be so much good? Otherwise, we will be boxed in a cage where everybody is looking for something to take out of the federal government. But whereas if we release the economy, the multiplier effect can only be imagined. And everybody will be the better for it. Your vulcanizer will sell. He's no longer running a generator, so he will do your tire for significantly less than he's doing it now. And more important, he can plan. So 20,000 naira in his hands is 20,000 naira around which he can plan. Not because as he planned for 20,000 naira, diesel price just went up and that is consumed, literally burning money. And that happens to everybody, the tailor, all the entrepreneurs. And don't forget that it's the small and medium scale entrepreneurs who create jobs. I keep saying that jobs going forward is also going to be very big. We're still not doing too well with regard to creating more and more jobs. So between getting the younger ones in the population employed in formal jobs, training them to be skilled in their own small and medium enterprises is also very key. And so much is happening. Look, since these electricity reforms, I've had so many questions from young people asking, many are retraining themselves because of the opportunities that are coming, supplies of humongous proportions, smart meters. How do you check losses? How do you ensure that what the electricity supplied to you is actually what you have consumed? So many different things.
Cards, all the options that
so much.
And all this can only be put in gear when the PIB is passed.
Absolutely. And you're looking at situations in which you're having friendlier consumer outlooks. So you're having friendship centers, people coming to ask questions about why am I not getting. It's happening today, but it's happening in a very hostile environment. If you don't pay, we'll cut you off. You know, it's brash, it's whatever. It's got to have a more human face.
And it's on that note we round off this edition of the program. If you've got questions or comments, please send them across via email, Facebook, or Twitter. We always love to hear from you. Look for this episode and past episodes of the program on www.youtube.com/channelsweb and be sure to like and share them. I'm Shola Shayeli. Thank you for watching.